So fast forward, we continued to innovate, continued to deliver great product and solutions for them, and they emerged out of bankruptcy and opted to want to proceed to acquire us. So, yeah, I think Caesars recognized, externally they were expressing it to me, and internally they were even more so expressing it to themselves in terms of what this meant to them as a game changer. They had the finger on the pulse of where we stood, and I'm sure they did. They had stronger relationships and more contacts in the industry, so that I'm sure they knew where we were at and the business development activity that we were trying to conduct. And part of that business development activity started to gain momentum. They knew we were doing that business development, and senior leadership at Caesars got with senior leadership at Excel, and Caesars leadership noted internally that Excel's interested in investing or acquiring Tipping Point, and that we asked them to back down, and they agreed. Then we engaged with another company just about that time that resulted in a binding letter of intent to acquire us. And that's when things went really sour and south, knowing that all they wanted to do was to find out who that buyer was so that they can leverage their strength, just like they did with Excel, to get that buyer to also stand down. It was one of the worst days of my life, because I never thought it could happen, right? Then 24 hours later, they filed a lawsuit. They knew that would be part of the nuclear option, to file a lawsuit. We continue to try and prosecute the business, which we tried during that period, the first few months, or do we have to go and fight back? And we had no other choice. The script is, if it's a small company and we can just, file a suit, we'll wrap them around the axle. We'll tie them up, we'll bleed them, and we'll end up getting the results that we're looking for. And here we are nearly 7 years later. This February, it's going to be 7 years later. We're still in the cage, right? We're still putting up a great fight. After 6 years or 5.5 years of litigating them through multiple motions and a lengthy litigation process, and having our day in court and going through 4 weeks of trial, and our attorneys presenting the evidence to the jury with regards to our counterclaims, those counterclaims, at the close of the presentation of the facts to the jury did not get to render that decision. We didn't have that chance for our system, for us to have our day in court. Our day in court, this wasn't a bench trial. This was a jury trial. It was meant for the jury to decide this case, not the judge. One of the worst days of them filing the lawsuit 6.5 years ago to one of the best days of your life. Feeling vindicated by a set of justices who have reviewed the evidence and the facts in new, and clearly state that the district court, erred in a big way, right? And almost to the point where it was egregious. Goliath didn't win, right? Goliath won the battle, but not the war. And that's why we're still here, because the war has not been decided on yet.